Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Irresistible and I am a manifestation and soul realignment coach. My channel is geared towards helping you become your highest potential so that you can create and live the extraordinary life that is your birthright. In today's video, I'll be talking about a brand new manifesting practice that has gotten me crazy results. So you definitely want to keep watching. But before we get started, just a quick reminder that I have daily email coaching advice that you can now receive into your email inbox every single day with advice, pep talks, reminders, and all kinds of tips and advice that you can use to stay on top of manifesting and never ever forget your power. Also, just a quick reminder that I offer both email and video coaching. So if you need help in manifesting any of your desires or in releasing any of your blocks, you can definitely check out my coaching options. They are all in the description below. And I also have some fun affirmation products which I've never spoken about before, but you can check them out. They're basically mugs and tumblers that have affirmations on them. So you also want to check them out. They are also in the description below. And please do not forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon in order to receive a notification anytime I upload a new video. Today's video is unlike any other I've done before. This is a brand new manifesting practice that I have received intuitively and have been applying for a couple of weeks now, and it has gotten me insane results. It is so amazing, and I'll tell you how so in a minute. I had set the intention that I wanted to have some sort of practice that helps me and my clients and my subscribers to find it easier to deal with 3D reality, to deal with opposing thoughts, and really just to make the manifesting process easier. Now, obviously, there is never ever anything out of reach. You can always manifest anything that you want just like that. It does not have to be difficult. But as you're learning manifesting, it may be perceived as hard for some people. And we all have opposing thoughts when it comes to certain desires. When we first have a new desire, we may at times have opposing thoughts, and in the beginning, it may seem like it's more difficult, but then you always manage to manifest it in the end, and then it becomes your new norm. But how about even when you have a brand new desire that you really, really want? How about if you're able to shift just like that? Now, as a disclaimer, this is not something that I have made up or that's mine or anything like that. I got the idea to mix and match certain techniques together, and that has really done wonders for me. In my experience, it has done wonders. And I have been manifesting consciously since 2004. I didn't know that I was manifesting. I didn't understand that's what I'm doing. And I learned that this is called manifesting through the law of attraction in 2007. So I've been manifesting for a long time. So when I say this manifesting practice is really next level, I am talking from a lot of experience. I am one of those people who hesitates to throw techniques out there because everybody then starts to think, well, that's the technique that's gonna get me my desire, and then you end up jumping techniques. So I'm not one of those people who believes in that. I believe find the thing that works for you and stick with it. Like whatever resonates for you, just do it. Don't go around jumping techniques. So that's another disclaimer is, okay, for me, this has been something really fabulous, but it does not mean that you need to spend your time always jumping techniques. So if you resonate with this, do it and stick with it. And you will know if this is working for you from how you feel. So jumping into the outcomes, what was different for me with this? Because if you've been following me for a while, you know that I have manifested in different ways. I'm not one of those people who only uses one way. It's worked for me doing different things, and I always go intuitively with what it is that works for me. And this came to me as an idea of taking techniques already existing. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm not claiming this is my idea or whatever, but I did bring together techniques that came to me intuitively, how to mix and match. So that's the part that was intuitive, but it's already stuff that's out there, and I'm not reinventing the wheel. So let's jump into the outcomes. Why is this now my new favorite? And I'm definitely putting this as the intro video to my YouTube because it really is magical. The first thing that happened when I did this technique is I felt the shift very fast, right away. I would tell you right away, within 24 hours, I felt my identity shift. Now, when I talk about identity shifting, and if you've been following me for a while, I say that every desire has its corresponding identity that represents the person who has their desire. So if your desire is to become a very successful multi-million-dollar entrepreneur, that has its identity. If you are currently the entrepreneur who's struggling and barely making ends meet and feeling like it's hard work, this has its own identity as well. So the state of wish fulfilled has its identity, and the state of lack has its own identity. They're two different identities. These are also called states of consciousness. Now, each one of these has its own corresponding beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and actions. So the person who is in lack and struggling and can't make ends meet, the struggling entrepreneur is here. That person has very different beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and actions, and different 3D. So we can put here the 3Ds at the bottom. Than someone who is a multi-million-dollar successful entrepreneur who's here. That person has their own beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and actions. And when we are using affirmations or visualizations, we are working on this level. We're changing the subconscious assumptions, the subconscious beliefs. We're working on reprogramming in order that becomes our new habitual way of thinking. And so we're working here to manifest this identity. We're working here to manifest that identity, to change the identity from A to B. So you're working at this level. The outcome is I felt myself shift right away with respect to my specific desire. I found myself literally go from here to here. And what that meant for me, that was an immediate shift within 24 hours. It meant that my beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and actions were corresponding to that. So the first thing is I felt myself shift. The second thing was that my opposing thoughts were almost muted. I literally felt that the opposing thoughts which passed through, they were muted. Like when I say muted, like I didn't really hear them. They would pass through. I would see it and I would not engage with it. It was like a passing through. It was like I was disconnected from them very strangely. That's what I felt. So that's the second thing I felt. The third thing that happened was that I was extremely unconcerned with 3D. I was unconcerned. It was exactly like the opposing thoughts. I was not concerned with 3D. I knew I was gonna get it. I knew that my 3D is gonna shift. I just knew it. And this is attributed to point one, that I felt myself, I've shifted. I literally felt it. I felt, when manifestation coaches tell you feel it on the inside, this is exactly what they mean. I felt it on the inside. I felt it. So I was completely unconcerned with 3D, still unconcerned with 3D, zero concern. That's the third thing. The fourth thing that I experienced was the movement. There was so much movement. Again, within 24 hours, I saw a lot of movement. I started to see movement that I did not have for several weeks. So that was huge. For me, that was huge. And here, by the way, I am one of those people who hesitates to tell people that things happen very fast, because I don't want people to feel that if they didn't manifest that fast, that it is not going to work. But here, I am telling you guys, this technique was really just out of this world. So I want you to have the assumption that this absolutely works for you as well. Please have that assumption. It will work. So the fourth thing is I experienced a lot of movement that I had not experienced in many weeks. The fifth thing that I experienced was I actually started manifesting. So it was no longer just movement. It was literally a number of physical shifts in 3D that happened that were not just movement, it was actual manifestation. So this is in a nutshell what happened. I felt the shift. I felt my opposing thoughts muted. I felt unconcerned with 3D. I just knew it. I knew that it's shifting. And guess what? The movement came in and the physical 3D was already transforming just within 24 hours. So let's look at what the actual practice was. There is the prep work first. The prep work is just a one-time thing that you do. And I want you to think about what it is that you are working on manifesting. I'll give you two examples here, one for money, one for SP. So let's assume you want to manifest money. I want you to create an image of what that looks like for you. So if you wanted to have $100,000 in your bank account, you may take a screenshot of your bank's balance and Photoshop that and have an amount of $100,000 in your account. You want to create a visual of what that is, the end. So we're not talking about the middle here, we're talking the end. What is it that you want? Create that mental image literally, physically. If you want to manifest being with your SP, find a photo of you and your SP, or I don't know, use Photoshop or whatever to create yourself being with your SP. Or if you don't want to do something physically because it's too weird for you, which, you know, it's fine, you can just mentally imagine what that would look like. Just create that mental image. We want the same image, okay? So if you're doing this mentally, you want it to remain the same image. Now, if you can't do that, then I highly recommend you do it physically. So you find a photo and you create it. You want something you can see. So that's the first thing. That's the prep work. Create that image that reflects you having your desire, whatever that is for you. Now, going into the actual practice. As you're going to sleep, this is the first thing you do. As you're going to sleep, in the state akin to sleep, you hold that mental image in your mind. If you are not able to do that, you may want to look at the photo for at least 5 minutes. Look at it before going to sleep. Have it on your mobile device as you're going to sleep. Keep looking at it for at least 5 minutes. If you stare at it long enough, it's going to be in your mind when you close your eyes. So you just hold that image. It's not a movie, right? It's not a motion picture. It is a snapshot. It is a snapshot that it's like a picture. So you're holding that image in your mind. So if you're manifesting money, you keep seeing that $100,000 in your bank account. You keep looking at it mentally while your eyes are closed until you fall asleep. If you're wanting to manifest you're a specific person, that is the image. Maybe it's you on your wedding anniversary or it's you on your wedding day. Just hold that mental image until you fall asleep. This is SATs. This is Neville Goddard's SAT technique. Now, as per Neville Goddard, he says that when you do something in SATs, anything that goes on during the day in terms of opposing thoughts are irrelevant. And if you don't know what I mean by opposing thoughts, please go to this video. I will link it above. Opposing thoughts are thoughts specifically opposing your desire. So if you want to manifest $100,000 in your bank account, saying, I don't have enough money, money is not here, I can't make ends meet, these are opposing thoughts. If you're hating on Sally because she took your parking spot, that's not an opposing thought, okay? So opposing thoughts are specific to your desire. So that's what he says. But so here's where I have created a little bit of a different practice, because the idea is our conscious mind oftentimes is what's creating the roadblock, because we pay so much attention to what our conscious mind is saying that we then end up not manifesting. We think, oh, I'm thinking opposing thoughts, so guess what? I'm not going to manifest. And anything you assume has to manifest. So that's the thing with the ladder technique. I shared it in another video. I will link it above. That's what Neville said, is that any opposing thoughts you have during the day will not have an impact. But still, sometimes our conscious mind gets in the way. So this, what I'm going to share with you now, helps deal with that. It literally helps you shift in exactly the same way I explained, where you go straight from lack to wish fulfilled and stay there. So what you do here is you choose 2 affirmations, only 2, that you're going to repeat that represent the state of the wish fulfilled. The first one is gonna be the dominant affirmation, which is, I always have a minimum of $100,000 in my bank account for money. Or for SP, I am very happily married to SP name. So that's an example of the primary affirmation. You then want to create a secondary affirmation that fuels the primary. So the secondary affirmation is, money just flows into my experience very easily. So it's one that's kind of boosting the first one. The first one is the state of wish fulfilled. The second is just a boost, okay? For the SP, you can say, we said the primary one, I am happily married, or I am married to my SP, or I am very happily married to, say, your SP's name. You can boost it with, we are happier than we have ever been, for example. So it's just that boost. Okay, so these are the 2 affirmations, only 2. Then what you will do is, for 10 to 15 minutes, 3 times a day, you're going to repeat those 2 affirmations. An important point that I missed to say in the video, but I wrote as a text, is that when you are repeating the affirmations, repeat the 2 affirmations together for 10 minutes. So it's not each one for 10 minutes, it's both for 10 minutes. And then while you're doing that, you activate that mental image. That is a crucial part of this exercise. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that. I wrote it as a note, but you want to activate that mental image. If you're not able to hold that mental image, you can look at it physically, but essentially it's about activating that mental image as you're affirming. And it doesn't have to be for the entire 10 minutes. It could be just flashes of it. You just keep activating that image multiple times during the 10 minutes. Now, I forgot to mention one of the outcomes that I was saying in the first part of the video is I was doing these affirmations. Like sometimes you think it's hard to do these techniques. Oh, I have to do them for 10 minutes. Oh, I was doing them like that. I cannot explain that the energy I had, and it's not from coming from manifesting a new technique, but because my thoughts were now aligned. So affirmations are a form of focused thoughts, right? So they were aligned. I was finding myself saying them with the least amount of resistance and effort. I just kept repeating them. Sometimes I repeated 4 or 5 times, though I don't want to tell you need to do that. Just 3 times is enough. Just repeat them for 3 times. But what I'm trying to say is I found myself repeating effortlessly. It wasn't hard. Now, if you don't like repeating affirmations, you can do scripting, you can listen to them, you can put them on the Parrot app and listen to them, you can visualize, but dedicate those 10 minutes or 15 minutes 3 times a day to doing that. That is it. That is it. So here, all I've done is taken 2 very highly used techniques and merge them. Now, this came to me as intuitively as from my higher mind. It came as an idea and I implemented right away. I don't know, I just felt aligned with it. It resonated with me. I did it. And it has just been like, really, I'm telling you from experience, this was just one of the easiest techniques I found myself committing to. And it's already been 2 weeks. I've been doing it effortlessly. Of course, I'm doing it. Of course, I'm doing it because of all the manifestations that came in. And by the way, you keep doing this until you get your manifestation in full. So let's say you're manifesting $100,000 and then the money's coming in like never before. You didn't hit the $100,000 mark, but you know you're going to get it, right? So that money is flowing in, you keep doing it until you get the $100,000. If you're manifesting your SP, you might have them reach out to you, tell you they love you, blah, blah. You commit to it, this technique until you get the marriage that you want with your SP. So you persist with it. And it's going to be so easy for you to persist. You will commit. You will find that it is very easy for you to persist with this. What will be a real game changer for you is you will find yourself unconcerned with 3D reality. You are just not concerned. You just know it's happened because you're already here. You've already shifted. It is just really very powerful. Please give this a shot. Please do this with the utmost faith that it will work for you. Just because I'm a manifestation coach doesn't mean it was easier for me. This is something that everyone can do. Every single person, I don't care what your reality has been, this will work for you as well. So please do this, and I can't wait to hear back from you on everything you have manifested. If you like this video, then please like, comment, and share, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.